Good morning to all of you. Once again, join fast so that we will start our lecture within few minutes. We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will start our lecture. So in the last lecture on 9th of the October that we have discussed about the language. Okay, what is English language or what is language and why do we use it? Okay, that we have discussed. So language is a primary source of communication. Okay, with the help of language only we can communicate or we can give message to someone whom we are speaking to. Okay, so that is the use of language. We use language as a mode of communication to communicate with the people, to communicate with our colleagues, with our friends, with our parents. So that is why language learning a foreign language, it becomes very important. Okay, so I will share the screen of this desktop. Okay, is it visible? Presentation दिसते का सगळ्यांना? Yes, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the first lecture that we conducted on 9th of October, we have discussed about uh, importance of English. Okay, what is language? So, and why do we learn this English language? Okay, reasons to learn English. So these 3 points we have discussed about. Let's first just recapitulate these points and we will move further. Okay, so language is the primary source of communication that we have discussed in the last lecture. uh, it's also the method through which we share our thoughts and ideas with others. So for sharing purpose, sharing our ideas or thoughts, uh, it also plays very important role that we should have a language for the communication purpose. So some of the people even say that language is what separates us from animals and makes us human. So this is also the valid point that we are we are separate or we are different from animals because of the thing that we can communicate or we can use language as a medium of communication to communicate to the people, another people that we are having around us. Okay, so that's the different thing that we have. We can create language, we can uh, use it for the communication purpose. Okay, so that's the very important point. There are thousands of languages in the world. As we know that world is made up of different countries, there are different continents: American continent, African continent, Asian continent, okay, European continent. So uh, Arctic. So these are the continents that are included in our world. Okay, so and there are many countries and many small states uh, uh, included in the world. Okay, so there are more than 180 or 190 countries. So speaking about different states that countries have, we can see that there are thousands of languages we can find in the world. Okay, so countries have their own languages as well as In addition to that, they also have their mother tongue and variants, different variants of their official language or mother tongue. Okay, so that makes world is having thousands of languages. Some languages are spoken by millions of people. So the languages like English, Chinese, uh, these are the languages which are spoken by millions of people. As China's population is in the millions, we can find that they only speak in their language, and they don't use uh, other language to communicate in their country itself. So that's why the Chinese is also one of the language which is spoken by millions of people. And speaking about English, this is the language which is accepted by whole world. Okay? So we are also using this language for the communication purpose, for the official purpose, for education purpose. Okay, so that is why this is the language which is spoken by millions of people. It is the language which is global language, globally accepted language. And others, yes, there are few others languages are also there which are spoken by only few thousands. So some of the languages like tribal languages, as tribal people are less in number, they are having less population, we can find that their language is also spoken by uh, thousands. Okay, so that is why that language makes difference. Okay, then why do we learn language, or why do we learn English language? So it's basically because of this language is originated, or this was the original language of England, and through the historical efforts, means they took historical efforts, they took efforts uh, to impose this language or to spread this language in all over the world. Okay, so through the historical language efforts, the British Empire, the people from England or British country, they made it very important language in the whole world. Okay, so how they do it? They do it in the form of imposing their language on which they were emperor, or on which they were uh, colonizers. Okay, so as we Indian also were the colonies of the Britishers, that impact of their language is also we can find on us. Okay, so through historical efforts, this British Empire has made it possible to spread this language among all over the world. It has become the primary or secondary language of many former British colonies. So we can find that there were many different continents and countries which were the colonies of these Britishers. Okay, so which are these countries? So United States was also the colony of Britishers. Then Canada, Australia, India, then African countries. Okay, uh, then South American countries. These were also the colonies made by the Britishers. And we can find the influence of this language, English language, on the uh, people of this country. Okay, so that is why it becomes very important to learn this language. Currently, English is the primary language of not only countries actively touched by British impression, but also many business and cultural spheres dominated by those countries. So at this moment, this language is very uh, it become very important language, and we can find that the its influence, uh, we can find it on us also. We people also are influenced by this language, this English language. Okay, so that is why it is the primary language of not only countries actively touched by British impression, but also many business and cultural spheres. So if we can also find it very mandatory or compulsory or very important language, uh, which is used by many business and cultural spheres also. Okay, so that is why it becomes very important to learn this language. Then the another point is, it is the language of Hollywood and the language of international banking and business. So as we see that we have the habit of watching the movies of Hollywood, or we are very fond of these Hollywood movies. We are very fascinated towards them because of their technical superiority, or their suspense. Okay, we can see that there was suspense, horror. Okay, so we can find it on in the Hollywood movies, and we can find that all of the Hollywood movies are dubbed in the English language. Okay, we can find them, uh, the actors and actresses and other people in the movies, we can find them speaking in English language. So that is why it becomes very important to know this language, to learn this language. So it is the language of Hollywood and the language of international banking. Speaking about the international banking, so there are many institutions like IMF or different institutions, world institutions. Okay, so we can find their official work. We can find them speaking officially in the English language. So that is why uh, it's used in international banking and business. We can find this language very important because the business or trade in different countries, foreign countries, with each other, or uh, western countries, eastern countries, they have their trade or business in between them. So import export trade, that also happens between eastern countries and the western countries. Okay, so the language that they use for the trade purpose or business purpose or for banking purpose, it is also the language like English language. Okay, so this is very important to know that the international business or international banking, uh, the these happens these things happens uh, by using only this English language. Okay, and that is why the English language becomes very important. As such, it is useful and even necessary language to know. So this also is very useful language. And well, we when we go towards, or we uh, travel towards the different countries or different states, we can find its importance. So that is why we learn this language. Also, there are some reasons. Other reasons are also there. Globalization. So speaking about globalization, it became, or it made the world come close to each other, and that happens because of this globalization term. Globalization means what? That we come close to each other. Okay, as I'm speaking from here and you are listening uh, from your houses. Okay, I'm sitting in my classroom language lab, okay, language lab, and you are listening this lecture from your home itself. So this becomes possible because of the advancement of technology, or we can say that revolution in the technology communication, okay. And that is why uh, these are the fruits these are the fruits of the term globalization. uh, we are sitting in our houses, and we are getting access of the lectures, we are getting the access of different documents from each other, okay, so online. So this happens because of the revolution in the communication, or evolution in the communication, we can say that. Advancement of technology is also the one of the reasons of these uh, different things, okay. So globalization covers all aspects of life, and that is why deep understanding of this language is very important. Without proper communication, it is not possible to be in a connection. So to be in a connection, we must uh, have the knowledge of the communication, okay. So without proper communication, can we communicate with each other? No. Without proper communication, can we convey our message to the people whom we want to convey that message? It is not possible without proper communication, okay. So that is why proper communication became very important, okay. Therefore it is important to know how English language has united the people, okay. So it is also the universally accepted language. We are well known of this fact, okay. So why it is universally accepted? Because of its importance, because of its use, because of its flexibility, okay. We are using this language, uh, but it's not our mother tongue, okay, though we are able to use it. And that is why it's become very important. It becomes very important that the person who is not native to that land, person who is not native uh, of uh, England also can speak this language without any hesitation, or without any uh, difficulty. So that makes this language important, because we are having our Hindi or our Marathi or our other different language as our mother tongue, but it becomes very easy, or it becomes possible to learn this language because of its easiness, or because of its flexibility, okay. So therefore it is important to unite the people of whole world also. Then we discussed about the reasons to learn English. So it is essential for work. So for official work also we are using it, though we have our mother tongue, but second language or official language, we are using uh, English as an official language, okay. So that is why it is essential for the work. It is the universal language, we have discussed it. It will open the door of new cultures. So for knowing the new cultures outside our country or outside our states also, we can study the different cultures, we can get the access of that culture after only the knowledge of this language. So it will open the door of new cultures. As we are Indians, we are having different culture. So if someone from Western countries like Europe or Arabian countries or American continent, okay. So when someone uh, uh, come here, then if we want to know his culture, okay, if we want to study his culture, then it will be easy. It will become easy only if we are having the knowledge of that person. Okay, that person is speaking different language. We don't know his language, but if we want to communicate with him, he knows English language, and we also know the English language. Okay, but we don't know his mother tongue, and he doesn't know our mother tongue, my mother tongue. So for uh, be in a communication, or for in a getting to communicate with that person, we will have to speak either his own language, his mother tongue, or we have to speak English language. Okay, so that is why it becomes very important for the communication purpose. So that is why for knowing the different cultures that are present all over the world, it becomes possible, it becomes easy when we are having the knowledge of this language. Then you will travel comfortably if you are familiar to this language. If you can use this language, you can speak with this language, then it becomes very comfortable when you are traveling to different states, or when you are traveling to different countries, okay, different continents, when you are traveling. Okay, so that is why it will be uh, it will travel you will travel comfortably if you are able to speak this language. Then the next is, it is the most open language. Why it is most open language? It is open language because many of the words that are added in this language are added from the different countries and their languages. Okay, so it is influenced by French, it is influenced by Italian, it is influenced by Greek, it is influenced by Roman. So that makes this language very important and very influential language. Okay, because it has words from other languages. In uh, English language, we can find that uh, they have added the words from Hindi also. So roti, curry, these are the words which are added in that language from Hindi language. Okay, so that is why it is called as the most open language. Then language of art and literature, we can see that we are when we are reading the literature from all over the world. Okay, when we want to read it, or we want to know the literature from uh, other countries or other world, then what will be the language that we will try to learn it from? It will be the English language. Okay, because we can't have the knowledge, or we can't learn other languages like French, Italian, Spanish, or other languages that are there. We can't learn them very easily. Okay, we can learn them if we are having the knowledge of this English language. Okay, by translation method. But without knowing, or uh, uh, without having the knowledge of this language, English language, we can't learn other languages. Okay, so that is why it is the most open language, and it is the language of art and literature. Also, it eliminates the language weaknesses. So uh, we are having some language weaknesses. We can't communicate with people from other side. Okay, so why it becomes difficult? Because we have some language weaknesses, and it this is the language which eliminates the language weaknesses. So by learning this language, by knowing this language, it becomes very important to eliminate the language weaknesses that we are having with us. Okay, so these are the reasons to learn this language. Then the importance and need of the English language, we will see it. So people know the importance of it, and that is why this language is taught as basic language in every state. So this language is taught as a basic and very important language, very uh, compulsory language. This language is taught as a compulsory or very basic language in every state. Means we are learning this language from our KG itself. Okay, and it will help us for our graduation and post graduation also. So that is why we should have some knowledge of this language. We should be able to talk, or we should be able to speak this language. Okay, so people know the importance of it, and that is why this language is taught as a basic language in every state. Speaking internationally, it would be really difficult to prosper in this world without knowing English. So it becomes very difficult, okay, to be in the race of this world, okay, to prosper in this world. It becomes very difficult when we are having the lack, or we are lacking this language, or we are lacking in the knowledge of this language. Okay, so that is why it would be very difficult. Then when it comes to globalization, the first language that comes to mind is of English. Okay, so to be a global citizen, or to be a globalized personality, uh, we have to adapt ourselves. We have to make changes in our personality, and we should learn this language. Okay, so when it comes to globalization, the first language that comes to mind is of English. So it will be possible, okay, it will be possible when this globalization will become possible only when this language, the English language, should be there. Okay, so while thinking about the globalization, it becomes possible only when this language, English language, is used. Okay, so that is why it is important to know this language, to learn this language. So yes. Another important feature of this language is this language help us to create a world of ethically responsible, equitable, and tolerant. So the language, English language, plays a key role. So to uh, make people, okay, to make people responsible, ethically responsible, equitable, and tolerant, this English language plays a key role. How it plays a key role? It plays a key role when someone has the knowledge of this language, and someone is reading the philosophical books. Okay, someone is reading the philosophical books or psychological books he is having. So if he wants to get any type of knowledge out of that book, it would be possible, or it would become easy when he is having the knowledge of this English language. Okay, so for creating ethically responsible, equitable, and tolerant people, this English language plays a key role. Then the next point is, you can get information from each field. In business communication with customers and other delegates, it is very important to exchange and share our thoughts and innovations. Thus, the business grows. So, uh, you get, or you can get the information from each and every field. As you are in engineering field, okay, so you are engineering students, but when you want to gain any type of knowledge from other streams, okay, other streams or other branches, or uh, uh, other field, okay, or other field, if you want to get any type of information, uh, you will get it when you are very good at, or you are quite good at your English learning. Okay, so because the books books are there in the market. Okay, there are many books in the market of different types of information. Okay, and we can get knowledge from it when we read, or we are having the knowledge of this English language. So you can get information from each field when you can be able to learn this language, or you are able to uh, speak this language. In business communication with customers and other delegates, it is very important. So in the business communication also, in the business communication uh, also, uh, when we are trying to contact to the customers or other delegates, okay, when we want to communicate with the customers and other delegates that are related to our business. Okay, so while contacting these people, if we are lacking, or we are ignorant of this language, English language, then it becomes difficult. Okay, then it becomes very difficult for you to grow your business. Okay, so for the business purpose also, for the business purpose, for growing the business also, you should have uh, a good knowledge of this language. Okay, so it becomes very important. It is very important to exchange and share our thoughts and innovations. Thus the business grows. So why it becomes important to share our thoughts and innovations? For growing our business. Okay, if we are doing any type of business, somewhat import export or other type of business, okay, grocery or something, retail store, if we are having, then how we will grow the business, and how we will expand our income? Will expand it by attracting the customers and delegates. Okay, and for attracting the people, okay, for attracting the customers, we should have to do the advertisement. Okay, regarding our business, we should do the advertisement. Okay, and that becomes very important to sell our product, or to market our product, to do the marketing of our product. It becomes very important that we should use this language. Okay, we should know this language, we should skillfully use this language for the marketing purpose of our product. Okay, so that is why it becomes important to share and exchange our thoughts and innovations. So for sharing our innovations or our thoughts also, we can use this language. It will reach to the globe, or it will reach to the whole world when you are using an international language. And when you will if you want to uh, mm, share your innovations or share your thoughts in your own language or by using your mother tongue, then will it reach to the people from all over the world? No, it won't reach to the people from all over the world. So for reaching to the globe or for expanding our business at the international level, at the world level, it becomes important to advertise our business or to do the advertising of our business by using this language which is known by the people from all over the world. So that is why it becomes important. Then there are several factors that make the English language essential for communication in our current time. So in the current situation, it becomes very important, or it becomes essential for the communication purpose. Okay. So for communication purpose, we are using this language. We can use our mother tongue also, but will it be effective? It won't be effective, because for growing at the international level, for growing or for reaching to the corner of the world, okay, to each and every corner of the world, if we want to reach, then it becomes very important to adapt ourselves, uh, to try to uh, gain knowledge of this language. Okay, so there are several factors that make English language essential for communication in our current time. So current time is different from the past situation. At the current time, the jobs are getting wiped off. Okay, they are not, the government is not providing different type of job because the government is not having money. Okay, so that is why for business purpose we should be very careful, and we should be uh, attentive in the business, and it becomes possible when we are having the knowledge of this international language, that is English language. So first of all, it is the most common foreign language. We know that this is the most common foreign language which is spoken at different levels or at different countries. They are using this foreign language as a common language. Why it is common? Because the each and every person or many of the people can use this or can speak uh, or can understand this English language. Okay, so that is why it becomes the common foreign tongue or common foreign language. This means that to people who come from different countries, for example, a Mexican and Sweden usually use English as a common language. So, two people when they meet to each other, okay, when they want to try to communicate with each other, what will they use or how they will communicate with each other? By using their own tongue or by using this international common tongue, that is English. They will use or they will try to use in English as a common international language. Okay, They won't use Mexican or Sweden or Indian, that is Hindi, or uh, different languages like German or French. Okay, they will use this common term, and the common term, international common foreign language, is the English language. So this means that two people who come from different countries usually use English as a common language to communicate. So usually they will use this as a common tongue or common language for the communication purpose. This is also called lingua franca. So it is also called as lingua franca, that is connection language or connecting language. Okay, lingua franca means connection language. This is the language which is connecting two people from different countries with two different languages, with two different communication languages. They can use this common tongue or common foreign language for knowing each other, for uh, getting knowledge of each other. Okay, so that is why this is also called as the lingua franca. Then the next point is, that's why everyone needs to learn the language in order to interact at international level. So for interaction purpose at the international level, okay, if you are interacting with your boss who is an international personality, or who is at the international level, so how you will communicate with him? You will communicate with him only by use or by speaking with the help of this language. Okay, so he won't tolerate you if you are speaking in Hindi or you are speaking in your mother tongue. Okay, he won't understand, or he won't try to understand your language you are speaking. Okay, he will understand only the English language. So that's why everyone needs to learn the language in order to interact at international level. Speaking it will help you communicate with people from countries all over the world, not just English speaking ones. So by speaking this language, it will help you to communicate with the people, not just English people. Okay, you will get the communication, or you will get the information of the people who are not English people. Okay, who are different nationality peoples, like French or German or Swedish. Okay, or uh, Spanish. Okay, so these people won't use their language also and your language also. Okay, they will either speak in the language which is common, that is English language. So that is why speaking it will help you communicate with people from countries all over the world, not just English speaking ones. Okay, so this is the importance of English language as international common tongue. So as there are 10 minutes more left to this lecture, so I will try to uh, put your attendance. Okay, let me first put your attendance in the attendance box so that it will be easy. As there are 52 participants, means 52 students are there. Let me put your attendance. It's 13th of the October, okay? 13. Plus 3 divided by sine 2x. बरोबर का? आता ती स्क्वेअर रिप्लेसमेंट काय काय ती स्क्वेअर रिप्लेसमेंट काय काय replace the square by minus 4 change. Same as changes are like 2b plus 3 divided by minus 4 minus 4 multiplied by 16 minus 5. Minus 1 upon 23, sorry, 25, 2 each sine 2x plus b sine 2x. तर d म्हणजे काय तर d by dx असते d by dx म्हणजे डेरिव्हेटिव्ह काढायचा साइनचा साइनचा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह काय आहे cos 2x into 2 येणार ना रे 4 cos 2x plus 3 sin 2x कळतंय का लक्षात येतंय का मला काय अडचण असेल तर कोण कसं आहे नाव कोण कसं आहे नाव बघ 8 2b आहे Okay. So I have marked your attendance. Okay. So yes. So we were discussing about the importance and the need of English language. So it is very important language to learn. Okay. Why it is important? Because as you are for engineering students, okay, as you are engineering students, if you can't express yourself or if you can't speak by using this language, then it won't be possible for you to be selected, okay, in the campus drive. Okay, so for the campus placement or campus interviews, they are taking the interviews, they are using this language, uh, they are speaking with you people, they will speak with you people by using this language. Okay, they won't speak or they won't ask you questions uh, in your language or their language. Okay, they will use only the English language to speak with you. Okay, so that is why for getting selected in the campus interview, the different activities like GD, okay, group discussion or personal interview, PI, okay. Personal interview is the most important. Group discussion is also important. So for these activities, we should have the knowledge of this language, and it becomes possible when we are good at our speaking. Okay, they won't uh, expect that you have to speak or you have to use this language fluently. Okay, but for getting the job of international companies or multinational companies, you will or you should learn this language. Okay, so that is why it becomes important. Okay, and this is the importance of this language. So it is also the international common tongue. uh, we will discuss the latter part of this lecture in the next lecture. Okay, thank you for joining this lecture. So for today, I conclude this lecture here itself. We'll study the other different aspects of this language in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you for joining this lecture. Thank you for listening to me. You can leave this meeting now.